Good morning. Hope you're enjoying a nice warm cup of coffee or a cup of tea, perhaps. Maybe you're anti-caffeine. But today we're going to be talking about anti-war, actually. And recently I did this lecture here. You can see. Maybe I should. Oh, it's pretty visible. Yeah, it's because there are some weaknesses of communication nowadays because we don't have a rich enough vocabulary to explain some things. Like if I say UFO, so many things it could mean too many things. So we basically need to categorize and subcategorize and find out what this could mean. There could be a spiritual type of UFO, it could be a mechanical UFO. How many different kinds of spiritual UFOs are there? How many different kinds of mechanical UFOs are there? It could be an electrical mechanical UFO. It could be a UFO with purely moving parts. It could be a man-made UFO. It could be an alien UFO. It could be it could be an extraterrestrial UFO. But those there could be a human extraterrestrial UFO. They may be human beings that are living on a military base on the moon or on Mars. So for us, they would be extraterrestrial. But basically, they're also human like us. Like they may be connected to some corporations or military-industrial complex here on Earth. Or it could be a spiritual UFO. It could be material. It could be non-material. So when we use words like this, we really have to, we need a way around this weakness of communication here. So that's basically what I was saying. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. But what I want to talk about is how UFOs and anti-war, relate. Because this is important and there is a relation and we need to understand that. We really need to understand that. Hopefully I'm visible. I want to make sure my face is going to be visible. Yeah, it's going to be visible. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, yeah. So I've always been interested in this subject. Not so much the spiritual, non-physical, esoteric kind of UFO, but I suppose more the UFO that is that represents some kind of advanced human technology. As I understand, a lot of these UFOs are advanced, military or other corporations, and not necessarily from the military-industrial complex. I'm talking about the aerospace and weapons manufacturers that are, out somewhere out in the Nevada desert, or perhaps in Pine Gap in Australia, and the secret bases there, or maybe the Russians have some, or the Chinese have some. But okay, when we're talking on this level, another weakness of communication here. So I mentioned, I said, USA, China, Russia, Australia. Okay, when we're talking on this level, this kind of economic activity, it's not really about which country it is. And when we're talking about the military-industrial complex, it gets into a very nuanced kind of area, because people, they don't understand that what we experience as political geopolitics, what we experience in our level of the economy and our level of economic activity and our economic bubble, what we experience as, and what we are affected by from geopolitical ongoings, is very, very, very different. The dynamic, I'm saying, the dynamic here is very, very, very different from the dynamic of when you get right up there to the weapons manufacturers and the aerospace manufacturers, and the subcontractors who are building the weapons and the jets and the planes and the tanks and the big the big machines who are building those for the military. Okay, there's a different kind of power dynamic here. Like a lot of these big corporations, they don't really answer to any government. You know, they don't have to follow the same kind of laws that they're not restricted by the same kind of laws that, you know, we civilians are restricted by. So there's, you know, when you get to that level, you have different corporations, and you have agendas within that are basically like way above the agendas that we would kind of, the dynamics that we would understand. So yeah, we really need to you really need to do a little bit of digging, you know, to understand these things. So, you know, why is it important? Why is it important to understand all this stuff about UFOs, and then, you know, to subcategorize it and to understand, you know, the different types, and to understand the power dynamics within this military-industrial complex, and how does that relate to these wars that are happening, and how could it prevent war by being, if we would have more knowledge of that, how could it prevent war? The question is, how could it not prevent war if we understood these things? Because if we could see clearly, you know, what's happening within our geopolitical dynamics versus the dynamics of these military contractors and these big companies, and the relationship between them and the governments, and how they benefit from the war, and how they work through these other intelligence organizations like the CIA, the NSA, and other ones that we don't even know the name of, because we don't even know they exist, but they are basically agencies who help these big weapons manufacturers to basically go and advertise their weapons. They're basically like insurgents maybe not insurgent groups, or they're agencies who, they're really fucking shady agencies who send agents in disguise to enemy countries, and often they'll send agents to both sides to build up the tension, and they create propaganda to create more tension. When they basically they do big surveys, they gather a lot of intelligence from all around the world, they find where there is conflicts, and they find how can we make these people hate each other enough to want to fight a war. And then we'll go and advertise our weapons, and then we'll send them a big catalog here and show them, hey, we got these tanks, we got these, you know, tomahawks, we got these you know, all these different guns we could sell you, and this gun is good for this bomb is good for that. You know, hey, I think this you know, I think this particular rocket launcher here will help you out in this. I'm not fucking kidding. This is exactly what they're doing. Okay, this is what happens on a daily basis, and this is exactly what's happened in Ukraine. This war was never ever necessary at all. You know, had we the people, had we understood these things, we could have, you know, done a lot. We could have done some anti-war movement to, you know, to spread awareness to prevent this kind of thing, you know. So anyway, I got my little pen here and my drawing board here and my whiteboard here, and so I think I'm drawing something, but hopefully I've explained enough. Yeah, let me perhaps write this here again. UFO. Now they're coming up with a new one. Now they're saying, you know, UAP. Unidentified flying object, unidentified aerial phenomena. You know, and it's the same thing. But mostly, you know, these are more advanced, you know, aerospace technologies. Is that no? Let's make this. Let's make this bigger so that you can see. Well, actually, let me change the color. Okay, so yeah, if you hear UFO, UAP, flying saucer, yeah, anything like that, it is most likely it is a aerospace technology. Let's see how visible is that. Yeah, aerospace technology. Yeah, so you know, most of this stuff that, you know, we've seen it on TV. We've seen these you know, these US fighter pilots, or you know, this farmer who saw a weird light in the sky over his farm. You know, a lot of this stuff is just aerospace technology, which is manufactured by which is manufactured by the MIC. By the MIC. Does anyone know who the MIC is? The MIC, it's a long word here. Military industrial complex. Yeah. So the MIC is shorthand for military industrial complex. Okay. These are the weapons manufacturers, the aerospace manufacturers, and a whole much other research and development, a lot of scientific things, and you know, that's where a lot of these, you know, these UAP is coming from. So the guns and the bombs and the weapons and the jets and the tanks that they sell to these conflicts like Ukraine and stuff, and you know, they send their agents there to make more problems and then advertise the weapons and then sell them. The weapons that they're selling in that case are just conventional, you know, guns, bombs, etc. And then they're using the profits, they're using the proceeds to build more exotic technology like the stuff here. And we don't normally see this type of technology used in wars. This stuff here is used outside of the Earth. Okay, this is what this aerospace technology is. You know, they're using it to do mining outside of the Earth on other planets, and probably they're doing some kind of business with other life forms out there. Most likely, they're doing business with other human beings and other life forms that are similar enough to human beings, that have similar, you know, needs, trade dynamics, that they can have some kind of business, you know, relationship then. Yeah. So that's what it is, and that's why it's important for us to understand, you know, all these things. We have to understand what this here actually is.